Adilah had been sleeping at the corners of streets for 3 years now. Her husband Steve accused her of adultery and had framed her by drugging her drink at a party. The night of the party was the beginning of the end. She could still vaguely recall the taste of champagne on her lips, the way the lights had danced overhead, and the sickening feeling as her head spun. Steve had insisted she drink more than usual, guiding her to a secluded part of the venue. She trusted him. He was her husband after all. Then came the darkness. Flashes of memory. A hotel room. A strange man. The sensation of being trapped, of not understanding what was happening. She woke up the next morning with a pounding headache, her body cold, and a strange man lying next to her. The humiliation and confusion hit her before she could even process the situation. She stealthily grabbed her clothes and bag and left in a hurry. That was the beginning of her demise. Both Adilah and her husband Steve were from wealthy families, but Adilah's family was more powerful. Once Steve got married to Adilah, he became greedy and wanted to have full control of the businesses they inherited from their parents. After the framed incident where Adilah was found in a hotel room with a strange man, Steve made the matter a deal and immediately filed for divorce. Divorce papers were filed, and her family's honor dragged through the mud. Adilah's parents had shielded her from the public, but they couldn't shield her from the shame. Adilah was sent home to her parents. However, her parents knew that their daughter couldn't have done something like that. She was not raised that way. Adilah was a kind, intelligent, and well-mannered young lady. Adilah explained what happened and told her parents she was drugged. Her parents hired a private investigator because they did not want publicity. They identified the stranger as Bradley Cooper, the CEO of a large corporation. He also explained his side of the story, that on that night he was also drunk, and a beautiful woman suddenly came into his room and made some sexual moves. He did apologize that he lacked control and slept with the woman, who disappeared after she got sober very early in the morning. Since then, he has been looking for her and wanted to take responsibility. On the other hand, as if being divorced was not enough, Adilah later discovered she was pregnant. She didn't know whether to cry or be happy that she was going to have a baby. Her parents were disappointed with the news, and in order to hide the news from the world, they locked Adilah in her room for 9 months. During that period, Adilah got so attached to the baby, and talked to the baby, and read books to it. She felt like the baby understood all that was happening to her. She was so much in love with her unborn child. Little did she know that her parents had other plans. They had decided for her, Bradley Cooper, the man who had unknowingly been used as a pawn in Steve's game, would raise her daughter, the child she had barely held, barely known. When she gave birth, her parents sent the baby girl to Bradley Cooper. Bradley performed some DNA tests, just to be sure, and he gladly accepted the baby. He wanted to marry and live with the mother, but he was warned never to look for her. He did not give up and also started his own private investigation to look for the mother of his child. At the hospital, Adilah couldn't understand what was happening. Her parents had told her she gave away her daughter for adoption. Now, before she could ask more questions about why they forced her to give up her child, her parents were involved in a car accident and died on the spot.